Okay, let's talk about JavaScript arrays and objects. These are two more data types. So JavaScript has numbers, strings, and then arrays and objects. I'm just going to actually just go use the Chrome console to show you an array. So A is going to be an array. We can have an array literal like that. And there you go. That's your array. And of course, then I can say A of 2 is 5, right? 0, 1, 2. A of 2 is 5, and that's the guy that gives me the last one. If I try to get, go beyond the end, I'm going to get an undefined. So that's undefined is a special value in JavaScript. And similarly, if I try to get negative number, I'm going to get undefined. I can also try to delete A of 2, and so when I do that, I'm gonna get some weird stuff like that. So A of 2 is now undefined because I just deleted. So generally you don't want to do that. You want to just use your arrays uh, like you would normally. But I can extend it. So A of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 equals 3. And now look at that. And now what if I go A of 10 equals 10? That works. So what is A? Well, A is just going to fill it in with all this undefined. So this undefined times 5. So that means that A of 9 is going to be undefined and A of 8 is going to be undefined and so forth. So that's an array. One last thing. The length. If you want to know the length of the array, you use a.length, which is 11. And that is what you use to go over an array. So back to here to my script. Let's say I have an array A of the number 5, 8, 44, and I can say for bar I equals 0, I less than a dot length, I plus plus. You see we're now using a for loop, which looks almost exactly like a Java for loop. And let's print out. So to print out, I'm going to say console.log. That means it's going to appear on the console, and I'm going to print out a of I. And it's going to number is. I go over here, reload the page. Oops, I have a problem on. It says script.js, the problem var I. Sorry, I'm using curly brackets. So remember, you have to use square brackets for an array. Okay, reload that. Let's look at the console. So when reloaded, it's going to say number is 1, 4, which are, of course, the numbers in the array 1, 4, 5, 8, 44. So that works. The thing to remember is that, yeah, to go over an array, you're going to use the a.length or the length property of the array, and then increase that by 1 each time, and that's how you go over an array. There's this other way for var x in a, and let's see what happens when we do that. Console.log is x equals x. So what will that print out? Well, we can try it. So x is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, this is another easy way to go over just the keys or the indices in that array. So because of that, we can say a of x. We can fix that and then do something like that, reload that, and now it matches. So this is probably a preferred way of going over an array, right? So you don't have to do the I++, yada yada. And because let's say in between here we delete a of 3, right? What's going to happen then? So I'm deleting that a of 3. Remember what that's going to do is going to make 0, 1, 2, the 8 undefined. So what's going to happen with these two? Let's run it. And you see the first one, because I'm doing I++, it gets to that one. It says undefined. The second one, we never get an undefined because JavaScript knows that that key is undefined, and so we never get it. So this kind of thing causes this distinction, right? Both of these seem to be the same, but they're not, as you can see, right? The first one goes over all the numbers, the second one doesn't. It skips all the undefined. So be careful, because that will cause you headaches at some point. Okay, so that is, I think, what we want to do about that. The arrays. Now let's talk about objects. So for the objects, we use the curly brackets like that. And so we can say A is an object, and you see it just tells me A is an object. And an object has properties, and I can just set the properties. I can say A's name is, A of course has to be Alice. So there, A is now an object, and if I open that here, it tells me A dot name is Alice, A dot name is Alice. Pretty cool, and I can just give Alex salary. Alice, she makes a lot of money. So now if I look at A, it says A has a name and a salary, and A dot salary is, that's pretty cool. And also notice that I can also access that this way. So normally you would just use the dot notation, but you can also use the array notation. And that comes in handy for when the key value has like spaces in it, which you generally shouldn't do, but there you go, you might want to do that. So going back over here, let's say now we change A to an array. And you can have an array literal as such, and name Alice comma, sorry, salary. Okay, I just demoted her. And home, the internet. No, sorry, internet. These have to be in quotes, of course, because those are strings and there's a number. So okay, I'm going to declare A to be that object, and now this is not really going to go work, right? A dot length is going to be undefined because an object doesn't really have a length, so that's not going to work. However, I can do something like this, and let's just start with, well, I'm going to do both. Ax is, first I'm going to print the x, and then I'm going to print not a dot, but a dot x. Oops, I didn't want to do that. A dot x, dot x. I think I got it now. Okay, so let's go back over here, reload, and you can see, first I want to show you the object A down here. So A has a home and name and salary, and so it prints X is the name, right? So when we do the for bar in X in A, X gets each key, right? So X is the key, and then A dot X is the value. And you can see it says, though it doesn't actually work, it says undefined, right? Because that doesn't work. We have to say A of X. Save that, reload, and now it works, right? So that is one case where you want to use the array notation. So A dot X is Alice, A dot X is, and it's not really A dot X, right? It's A of X. Should change that to make it more clear to you. So when you have those objects, that's how you can go through all the properties of an object. using this notation, using the 4-bar X in A notation, which is a for each statement. And so objects are very cool. It's very nice that we can just keep adding things to them. We can add more properties at runtime. Even though there's A, I can add phone number to A or whatever I want, and A keeps getting more and more properties.